Well, good morning. It's a Wednesday. We haven't been here in a while. It's the mobile Monica version of the Real Monica Adams show, brought to you by our friends at Invita Health and Wellness. They are literally right down the street. Dr. Sarah Franco, Jamie, the incredible staff that they have at 333 South Kirkwood Road. If you haven't been to them yet, you need to take care of yourself inside and out. In fact, I have an old client of mine that I used to personal train, and she said, Monica, I'm going there. I've got to get my life in order. Her grandson getting ready to graduate later this year, and she said she wants to be in incredible shape. Had a little health scare, a diabetes scare. And she said, Monica, it's time for me to get in. So she's going in to check out what she can do from a health weight standpoint. So yes, inside and out, Invita Health and Wellness is the person, Dr. Sarah Franco, and the business that can take care of you. How you doing this morning? Feel free to sign on. Tell me where you're watching from. If you're a long-time watcher, thank you so much from the very beginning. It's February 21st, which means we are just a week and a half away from a full year since we launched the idea of positivity, and the only aspect of what we will bring you is hope and light, positivity, even in the darkest of days, knowing that there is someone or something that's going to guide you to carve out where you belong. And speaking of carving out, by the way, we do have our Cultivating a Vision night tonight. It's not too late to sign up. If you want to go to TheRealMonicaAdams.com from 6 to 7:30 this evening, Kasia Sitar's in Canada and myself, we will be teaching you clarity of mind. We'll teach you to let go of the power of the past that doesn't serve you. I will go deeper into the breathing and the meditation aspect. And again, the power that you've given to the past that's not serving you needs to stop today. And we're going to carve that out for you so you can cultivate the vision that you were meant to always have. That's this evening. And again, we've got about 14 people signed up already. Would love to see you. TheRealMonicaAdams.com. Click on events, click the calendar for tonight, and you can still sign up. Again, if you have anybody who's 18 and under, they are absolutely free, because it is my goal to affect the younger generation at a very early age. All right, let's give you the weather. What the weather, not with Beckett more today. I'm going to see if Beckett's available to join us again tomorrow, though, because we do have some rain that could be moving in this evening, but not before we hit a high. Are you ready for this? It feels like April weather, not the end of February. 72, some of the meteorologists are saying, but at least 70 to 72 for a high today. Sunshine mixed in with the little clouds. Now, tonight, you might have some rain that could move in late this evening into tomorrow morning's commute, maybe even some thunderstorms that could pop up. Tomorrow's high, it starts to dip down. It's going to be windy as well, with a high right around the low 60s. It gets even cooler as we get into Friday and Saturday, as we'll be in the mid 50s. Then Saturday's actually the coldest, right around 52 for a high. But then we go right back up, and we're flirting with 70s again on Sunday and Monday. So today, absolutely make some plans with friends, your loved ones. Get out, enjoy lunch or dinner, maybe outside happy hour with some friends. Today's the day to do so. Hop on the bike. We'll probably see a bunch of people exercising outside today, and maybe even getting the motorcycles out. Please always watch for them. Get off of these and pay attention. I don't care whether it's a car or a motorcycle. You got to take care of each other. Be there for each other. We got to slow down in life. I came in to train clients at 5:45 this morning, and people are nuts overnight. Truly, the way they drive is just absolutely incredible. Come on, take care of yourself and take care of those around you. I like to do news you can use, but literally every story I heard this morning on no matter what channel I was flipping around, none of it do I think is going to serve you. It was just all about shootings and crime, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought, nope, none of that's going to serve you except for one thing, and it has to do with soccer. I'm a big soccer lover. Today's show is actually going to be a lot about soccer and hope and resilience, and really, how do you come through some of the darkest days and still have a smile on your face, and trying to be inspirational and motivational to lift others up that might be going through rough times like you? We're going to talk about all of that in just a second. But St. Louis City SC, I mentioned, they had that CONCACAF game last night, and they beat Houston 2-1. Congratulations. Their big game for the home opener coming up on Saturday against Real Salt Lake. Best of luck to them. I still want you to tell me whether you think their colors of their jerseys really are red. I swear, in some of the lighting, it looks hot pink. So I got my hot pink jersey, or not jersey, I got my hot pink jacket on today that has a little bit of the coloring of St. Louis City SC. If you have not seen, I wanted to wear it proudly. We launched our merchandise. You can see the Real Monica Adams logo, but the thing I love the most is my mantra that I've been talking about for the last year. It's your value on the sleeve for the girls. So as you shake somebody's hand, They see it right there. So you're passing along your value to their value, and that's how we do it. We lift each other up. Let me say good morning to those of you that are on. Kathleen Morris, Linda Eckert, Sean Fitzgerald, Marilyn, good morning. Glad to see you back at Mark Anthony's. Yeah, we sometimes are here on Wednesdays and Fridays, but the girls have been training virtually just so they can jump in the shower and get on to their day. So that's one reason why we haven't been here. Kathy, good morning to you. Julie, good morning. Let's see. Longtime watchers, see you tonight. Yes, so the Cultivating a Vision tonight. I love it. Marilyn signed up for that. See, to get to the next chapter in my life. More than ready. I like that comment. Linda went out to Elephant Rocks yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was pretty too. To walk away, love it there. Beautiful weather, working today. Well, everyone that's coming on, be sure to say hi, and I will do my best to make sure that I say hi to each and every one of you. There's Stephanie. Good morning to you. Everybody, hope you're having a great start to your day. If you haven't found your inspiration and your intention for the day, I always ask you to pick your word of intention. Mine today, as I said, my prayers was inspire. For me to inspire you, and for my guests to inspire you on a level that's just going to blow the roof off. Good morning to Cindy. Cindy, are you a new time viewer? I don't recognize that name. Cindy Cup. Good morning to you. I want to say hi to our friends at State Farm, Kathy Kilo Peterson and her office, kkilo.com. I'm going to have her bring you today's segment because she loves inspiration. I had a chance to stop by their office. Absolutely loved everybody I met. And then I love the fact that her paper, that's actually paper that I have a picture of, stacked up, and it says what I say at the end of every show, and that is to be kind. Love you, Kathy, and I want you to give her a call. I keep asking you to support those that support us. Otherwise, this show wouldn't exist. So Kathy Kilo Peterson's been a wonderful sponsor of ours. kkilo.com, and the number is 636-561-6460. Simply call her. You'll be blown away about the hundreds, if not thousands of dollars that you're going to save simply by having her check out your policy. Jim was blown away, honestly, from our home and from our auto. Pam Brandt, good morning. Julie Purcell, good morning to you. And Cindy says, I met you Friday. Okay, at the Working Women's Show. For all of you that met me there, I'm so glad that you're saying that so I can find out where you met us from. Thank you for watching, and do me a favor. I'm going to put it on the bottom of the screen. Please share, like, and follow our live stream. Right now, we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, we are on Instagram, and we are on X. So the platforms keep growing and growing. What are we going to talk about today? Soccer. Yes, we're going to go back, and my guest, we are going to reminisce on our upbringing. You're going to be inspired. I know this is a huge soccer community. You're going to enjoy some of the names he'll probably be dropping in that he played with, known as one of the greatest goalkeepers from our area. And his life was just on this massive roll, and then things started to try to take him off of his path. But his resilience, the way he continues to fight back when something's fighting him, is going to empower you on a level that I don't know if we've done yet. We've had some really incredible stories in the last year, and I'm going to go through as we get ready to have our year anniversary and pick some of my favorites. And what I want you to start doing is thinking about some of yours. Guaranteed, not only will this be one of your favorites, this will end up as one of our audio shows very soon that we drop on Thursdays on all of the audio podcast platforms. Are you ready to be inspired? Jim Tietjens, my guest when we return. Invita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Invita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Invita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Invita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment, or online invitahealthandwellness.com. We need women to lift women up.
Let's do that. Being on Monica's show, it was like one of the best interviews I've ever had.
Monica's very real, and she really cares about people.
She's changing lives.
Changing lives.
I think this is just really what people want to see.
Giving back so much to the community, and I really appreciate it.
Today, Monica was extraordinarily real, not only with me, but with her viewers and her listeners.
Made the interview process like talking to a friend.
How are you doing? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a few weeks.
Hey.
Hey.
You're close.
Monica. Whoa.
So go out in this world and be anything you want to be. But before you do that, first, be kind. Let's go. Let's do this. We are live. It's the mobile Monica version of the Real Monica Adams show. Jim Tietjens is my guest, fellow goalkeeper. Sir, so nice to meet you.
Thank you so much, Monica. Yeah, I heard a little news yesterday night from some secret people. First, I know
Secret people? Who's this?
Vince Drake.
Yeah, that is my coach from high school.
The legendary Vince Drake.
He is, isn't he?
I was sending out notes probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and immediately he got back in touch with me, and I was like, wow, this is going to be fun. A state champion.
State champion.
So we got 2 state champions. Mm-hmm. I remember the old Coke Park.
Oh, yes.
Right? Us guys down from Oakville.
You guys got a chance to play at Coke Park. The girls had to play on the football field.
Oh, I didn't know
which
that.
had divots galore in it.
Right.
I'm surprised we didn't break legs left and right.
So it was a major trip for us in high school. 4 or 5 of the guys on the team, we would make the trip up to Coke Park to see Aquinas and Rosary play.
Yes, absolutely.
In the year we won the state championship, Oakville has a letter. It's an O. We were up there and people were asking us, what's the zero on your jacket? And we said, that's how many teams will be better in the state. And it happened.
That's right. You know? We're going to talk about that. So I had a chance. Okay, so this is what's interesting. So Jim and Jeff, how do you pronounce Jeff's last? Is it
Kuchno?
Kuchno. I didn't want to say it wrong. So
the
Cooch. So Jim and Jeff both wrote this book that we're going to talk about with you today, and it's called Save. So we're of course playing off of the goalkeeper aspect,
right?
But it's so much more than that. It's all the things that Jim has overcome, which is so powerful. Now look, I put the 2 of us in a goal. You like that?
And look, you're taller than me. I used to be 5'11".
Come on, Jim. Let's do it.
Oh, look at my reach. I still can get over the bar.
Let's hit the goal. So let's go back. Okay, so you grew up in South County.
I did, yes.
We just said Oakville.
Yes.
You talked about being a state champ your junior year.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And my sophomore year, it was the one and only time that the girls won state. We beat DeBerg.
Uh-huh.
1-0.
Okay.
Greatest game of my life.
Congratulations.
But you had talked about some great games as well. What do you think was your greatest save in all of your career?
Oh, that's a tough one.
It's like picking a child, isn't it?
That's a tough one, but I will say my greatest event in soccer was winning the state championship. I mean, today, we were teammates back then. We're brothers today.
Yeah.
We still have our yearly anniversary party. We just had it. And we raised money for Cardinal Glenn's Children's Hospital.
I love that.
This year, we raised the most we ever raised,
$5,500. Congrats.
Last year, we raised $5,200. So, but we really stepped up lately because our goal was always to raise $1,976 the year we won state.
Right.
So the last year, it's been over $10,000. So it's pretty exciting.
Collectively, you've raised how much?
Collectively, probably close to 25.
25 is what I
And,
thought.
for a group of, 11, 12 people, we've lost some people and things like that. That's a pretty decent amount.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you're just tuning in again, we're going to give a little background on both of the authors. Here you go. Jim Tietjens, an impressive resume as a soccer goalkeeper. Ready for this? State champion, we just mentioned, but also All-American in college, a member of the U.S. national team, and a professional keeper who won a championship with the Fort Lauderdale Sun of the United Soccer League. Following his career, he enjoyed success in the sporting goods industry. He worked for Rawlings. We'll talk about that as sports marketing. But then underwent his first heart transplant in 1992, folks. In 2018, he had a kidney transplant along with a second heart transplant. And to this day, this man continues to be an advocate for organ donation. So you see the title of today's show about how organ donation can save lives, not just one, but multiple levels of that. He's already a member of the St. Louis Soccer and St. Louis University Hall of Fame and was inducted into the Melville School District Hall of Fame last year. And he still lives in Oakville, has 2 children, Jimmy and Annie. And then Jeff, who we'll talk to a little bit later, has spent his career working in the media and the education fields, worked 27 years as a high school journalism instructor, and retired as a full-time educator in 2021. So you two decide to collaborate on this book. When did that idea start coming around?
Well, really, myself and Jeff met, I think probably 7-8 years ago at the workout company at a gym in Oakville. And over time, we had the same schedule, so we'd be there a lot. So we developed a friendship. And probably, I guess, no more than 3 years ago, Jeff approached me about writing a book. And I said, I'd love to. I just don't know how to start.
Right.
He said he does. And I said, I'm in. Let's go.
Let's do this.
And we began, and it was probably 2-year project. Some delays. There was a couple times I was in and out of the hospital, things like that. But we finally got it done, and we intended to publish at Halloween last year. Didn't make it, so we ended up in late January, early February this year. So yeah, a lot of fun.
Here's the one thing that I think always surprises people. They will come to me and say, "Did you get a chance to read any of the book?" And I said, "Any of the book?" My best friend and moderator will love this. She will actually answer the question right now in case anybody doesn't know the answer to that. The answer is yes, I did. I wouldn't go to bed until I finished it last night. But he had supplied me with an advanced copy, and my life has been so crazy busy that I was like, when am I going to get this in? My husband went to bed last night at 8:00. I read it through 10:30 last evening because I wanted to take, it's my own personal notes of what really resonated with what I think will resonate with my audience. So we mentioned Oakville, United States Youth National Team, St. Louis University, Fort Lauderdale Professional Soccer. Here's the thing I read in the book, though. If you had to do it all over again, did you say you would have moved to Germany?
I had an opportunity to do that when I was very young. I think probably at that time, I was sort of a little bit blinded by the fact that I was 20 years old. I was living a block from the beach in Fort Lauderdale. Exactly. I'm like, it's a pretty good gig going on, so I decided to stay.
But what is it about the aspect of possibly playing and living in Germany that would have maybe changed if you had to do it all over again?
I love Germany. So I traveled a lot when I was young with the youth national team to different countries. Europe was one of them. So spent a lot of time in Germany. And when you're over there, you're just like engrossed in soccer, the culture. And for a kid, there was nothing better. I never wanted to leave to come home. And it's just every day, football, and players that you'd seen on TV. So, and now you're actually with some of the greatest players in the world.
Absolutely.
And kind of fitting in pretty well. So it was just, that's all I thought about those days. It wasn't a job career. Obviously, I got older, realized someday I had to get a real job.
No, shucks.
But
if you're just tuning in, Jim Tietjens again is my guest. And a lot of you, if you grew up in this area, you might know his name. Maybe you played with him. Feel free to drop things in if you have memories of maybe watching some incredible games that he had. Now, do you watch Ted Lasso?
I did watch Ted Lasso. I got into it. I loved it.
We're only in season 3. I'm late to the game.
Okay.
I love it.
No, I loved it. I thought it was well done. I got a lot of great laughs and just the spirit of him as a coach, his philosophy, and just a lot of laughs, a lot of fun. So I'm hoping maybe we see something come back at some point.
Absolutely. It's so well done. The goalkeeper, right now I'm in where the goalkeeper wants to be called Van Damme.
Okay.
If you all watch it, you'll understand that. We're talking about his soccer career, his athletic prowess, which is just so remarkable. What are your favorite memories from these days?
I would say really it's the camaraderie. It's going into the locker room every day. It's developing friendships. I mean, when the game ends, like right now, there's still people in Fort Lauderdale I communicate with. There were some world-class players that as a kid, I had so much respect for growing up. Then I got to know them. And just knowing that you get to know them as a person. And I found out a lot of the best players in the world are also unbelievable people. And that's kind of an honor to be able to reconnect with them and say, hey, how you doing? How have you been? How's your health? And it just means a lot to me. Soccer is a family.
Absolutely.
It really is. It may be people that you competed with really hard down the road in life. They're a family. It may be someone you never met in your life, right? But you knew of them and they knew of you. Now there's this respect level.
Yeah.
So whenever I became ill or something like that, people I never met were there to support me. And that's a special thing.
It is the bond. And, we are very blessed here because as I mentioned at the very beginning, this is such a huge soccer town. And I always loved that growing up as a little girl. And people would say, oh, St. Louis, oh gosh, you guys are known for soccer. You mentioned earlier Aquinas. Vince Drake, one of the greatest coaches. He had some of the most amazing men's soccer teams. So you list and talk about Aquinas and Rosary and Vianney. Yeah. So you mentioned you went to Oakville. Some of your friends went to Vianney, but you said we didn't have the money to go to Vianney.
Right.
But Oakville was right down the street from you.
Well, we had some great players, and there were basically 2 feeder parishes for Oakville, 2 Catholic parishes, St. Margaret Mary and St. Francis. And we had 3 players from St. Margaret Mary. I was one of them, and the rest of the guys were from St. Francis. So we had all played together our whole lives as kids, grades 1 through 8. So when we got to high school, we knew each other. And Oakville at that time, we won a state championship the 3rd year soccer existed when the high school just started. pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Well, and you won a lot of awards in your career. We're looking at some pictures. Also mixed in there, you got a Gold Glove when you worked at Rawlings, which is not an easy feat to get.
No, it's not.
Do you have a favorite of your trophies?
I mean, I would still say our state championship trophy. I know you've got some trophies listed up. The Gold Glove was very special to me because there was a man, president of Rawlins, Howard Keene, and when I left Rawlins, I went to Anheuser-Busch, and the day I left, he said something to me that was the biggest compliment that anyone's ever paid me in my life, and he was an icon in the industry. So coming from him, it was special. He had told me that never has a better man walked through those front doors. And I never saw myself, I was an overachiever. I would outwork the competition. And to hear those words coming out of his mouth, kind of saying to me, you've made it as a business person, it meant a lot to me.
Well, and during your time at Rawlings, you had a chance to become friends with a lot of great people. Mark McGuire, Ozzie Smith. I mean, we could go on and on with names, but you really worked hand in hand with Mark. I
did, kind of more so his agent. His agent was a great guy, Jim Milner. He was from California. I think it was Long Beach or Newport Beach. And the year Mark hit 70 home runs, I had met Jim for the first time in May. I had to pick him up at the airport. It was a really hot May day. Jim was a big guy like Mark. He had a navy blue blazer on, and he had a light blue shirt. At the time, I was in my late 20s, right? So I pick him up at the airport, and I've got a sort of an older car. I mean, not a junker, but older. And I never had the air conditioner on. So I'm turning the air conditioner on the highway, and it's not working. And it's hot, it's May, and Jim's sweating bullets, So we get down to the stadium. He opens the door and goes out, and he sees all this green antifreeze leaking on the floor. And I'm so embarrassed. He's like, looks like you got a problem there. And I'm like,
just
yeah.
a little bit.
And you know how you used to, those days, you'd hit the gas and it kind of wouldn't go right away? That's what my car was doing. So long story short, Mark goes on to hit 70 home runs. We have all these great ideas, and we do these commemorative bats, and they're a lot of fun. Rawlings does very well profitably, as does Mark. So unbeknownst to me,
I love this.
After Mark hit 61 on a Tuesday, I believe, or 62 on a Tuesday. I was in the office the next day, and the president of Rawlings, Howard Keene, who gave me the compliment, said he wanted to see me in the afternoon. And I really didn't know what he wanted to see me about because he said it multiple times. And I thought to myself, I'm here. What's wrong with right now? Well, apparently he was waiting to have a car delivered to the office. And finally called me in his office. He said, hey, Jim Milner called me. He said, Howard, we got to get Tietjens a new car. So he called. He's got a set of keys in his hand. I immediately kind of knew what was happening. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, geez, I got a Ford Taurus or something, So he calls me over the window and he says, you see that Taurus over there? You see that Chevy Blazer next to it? This is yours.
Yeah, it's not the Taurus.
He said, Milner called me and said, we got to get a new car. So kind of memorable moment. But from a business standpoint, we had some unbelievable marketing memories promoting Mark, working with Mark. And, I did work with Mark every day, but not, on a friendly basis, more on a professional basis. But we had some fun. We connected with Frito-Lay and Cracker Jack, and we had his picture on 25 million Cracker Jack bags. So it was pretty funny. And one of the best quotes I ever saw, I was with a VP at Cracker Jack at the All-Star game. It was the first home run derby. And this was up in Boston, and Mark's just cranking him over the Green Monster. And the VP of Cracker Jack leans over to me. He's like, hey, next year we're going to do 50 million bags. And I was like, yeah, buddy.
Keep going. Well, this man, if you haven't been able to figure out, is an overachiever. It was funny last night when you said that you posted that you were going to be on the show. Vince Drake was right away telling you, oh, you guys have something in common. You both played goalie. You both play soccer and goalie. And he said, you're both workaholics. So, yes, Vince, we are.
Yeah, he gave a little more comments than that for you. He was very complimentary.
Well, I love him.
How hard you worked, how good of a goalkeeper you were.
Thank you.
I just thought immediately that was so cool because we both won the state championship.
I love that.
I mentioned earlier, excuse me, two of my best friends, Johnny Hayes. Hayes family's a famous family up there. And then Perry Vonderbeck, both professional soccer players. Yeah. And we played together on the youth national team. So in the first year, there was a NASL, North American Soccer League draft for high school players. Perry Vonderbeck was the number 1 player drafted out of high school, and I was the number 2. And that was really because of our exposure with the youth national team. So Aquinas holds a special position in my heart. Absolutely.
And mine as well. Absolutely. Yep. Okay, if you're just tuning in, Jim Tietjens, we're talking obviously about soccer. This is how we were going to start it and just reminisce about some fun days. He keeps hitting my
kicking
table.
I keep kicking. I want to kick a ball. I was looking for some goalie gloves to bring, but
well, I also love that in his book, which by the way is called Saves, you talk about, and I smile. I actually started laughing out loud last night because you said, I always want to make sure that I was dressed to the nines. He was looking at what people were wearing in Germany and other areas and was ordering jerseys, making sure that he was, they were wearing the socks pulled up. And
wow,
the way,
you've got all the details.
He actually cut off his sweatpants so that he would have them where they needed to be. Yeah. I was very big on making sure I looked phenomenal in goal and played just as well.
That's not surprising me because you still look phenomenal.
Thank you.
But I always, that my friends joke, my kids joke, I wanted to be make a fashion statement. So in those days, the German goalies wore long shorts down to their knees, not over their knees, but down to their knees. And can you imagine ordering from Germany back in the mid-70s?
Soccer made in Germany.
It was soccer made in the Bundesliga, Toby Charles, exactly. Right? But there was a company called Eurosport, and each goalie in Germany had their own jersey. They had their names embroidered on their jersey. My idol was Sepp Maier. Sepp Maier was a great German goalie back in that era in the 70s. Germany won the World Cup in 74. So he wore the long shorts. I cut off my sweats. I had them hemmed so they looked official. And, he had a powder blue shirt with a black collar. And I just still think of that. And then when I got older and I got in high school, Sepp Maier got a perm. Long hair with the perm.
Did you?
So I got a perm.
Of course you did. It's so funny for all of you that are younger and you're like, what is he talking about? Guys have no clue about perms and that smell of a perm. There's not yuck.
I still have one great picture of me at SLU playing with a perm. Yeah.
We are talking about soccer, but we're going to transition to what this man went through when his soccer career wraps up. He gets the big boy job. He goes into Rawlings. He worked for Anheuser-Busch as well. And there are so many things that he's overcome from a health standpoint. And that is what's going to inspire you on so many levels. They want to know year you graduated high school.
I graduated in 78 from Oakville High School. Yep.
There we go.
Most of my best friends were 77ers, but I was a 78 guy.
All right. So looking back, somebody said hello from North Georgia mountains. We have people watching from all over the place.
Wow.
Great job. Oh, not just the U.S. We've had people watch us in the Philippines, Africa, Italy, Mexico.
So the Transplant Olympics are in Birmingham, Georgia this summer, and I'm starting to try to plan on going there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. So if you have any questions for my guest, please let me know.
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll look back at some of the comments and any questions that you have. And we're going to switch and transition for you into the health aspect coming up. The book itself, though, called Saves. I know when we first got an advanced copy, it wasn't out yet. Is it out? Is it out?
It's
officially?
out. It's out. It's available on our own website, Jeff, my website. It's www.inspiremestories.com, all together, inspiremestories.com. We have the hardback, we have the softback. It's on Amazon. This past few days, I've made trips all over the city, setting up signings at Barnes & Noble.
Love it.
In the Deerbergs in Oakville.
Oh.
It is available in a lobby display, thanks to some very good friends at Deerbergs. And as I grew up in high school, I worked at Deerbergs as a bag boy.
You just met my husband. Both of you. He worked at Schnucks though as a checker.
Got it.
So I believe I saw Michael, who is Mark's partner, walk in here.
Right.
There is a special connection, which is why we wanted to come back here. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to explain what that connection is, and then we're going to get into the unbelievable health blows that this man has overcome. This is where the inspiration's coming into play. You don't want to miss this. Think about this. When's the last time you called your doctor at 2 o'clock in the morning and he actually answered? Well, at Innovare Health Advocates, their patients are special. Their doctors, nurse practitioners, their care team care deeply about your health, your family, your work, and even your pet. Their clinicians are accessible and they lead your care in and out of the hospital. In fact, Dr. Charles Willie offers his cell phone number to his patients to ensure they can intervene early in your illness. They can provide provide care above and beyond, offering lab, x-ray, echocardiogram, and other treatments in their office. Innovair Health Advocates with 5 locations on both sides of the river. Check them out, innovairhealth.com. Hi, it's Monica Adams. Thank you so much for following along with The Real Monica Adams Show since we launched back in March. But I wanted to let you know there's so much more that I could do with you, your business, your corporation. Did you know that I'm a motivational speaker all around the world, as well as an MC and an auctioneer? So if you have an event, maybe a nonprofit organization, and you want to book me, just shoot me an email, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. Personal training, life coaching, and styling as well. info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. Welcome back. It is the mobile Monica version of the Real Monica Adams Show. We are visiting about soccer. We've had the first half hour just having a blast, reminiscing about old times. I'm looking at some of the comments, people asking if you knew certain people, and one of them you just said yes. So she was asking if you knew Tino
Lettieri. He was a goalkeeper in Minnesota. He was Canadian. He was on the Canadian national team. Actually got to know him a little bit because years back, NASL was very supportive of Special Olympics. So we went up to the National Special Olympics, and Tina was up there, and we had games against the kids and things like that. Yeah. Yep. So I did get to know him.
Okay. Yes. So she was saying he was a really good goalie. Good morning. Thank you for your inspiring story. Questions or comments again for my guest, Jim Tietjens. The name of the book is Saves. And as he mentioned, you can get it on the website, Amazon. You did some signings with Barnes & Noble at which Deerbergs is it?
Deerbergs in Oakville on Telegraph, where I worked as a young kid as a bag boy.
Are we going to carry it here, Michael?
We are.
Christopher's? Okay, so you will also be able to pick it up at Christopher's in Kirkwood. So I've got a picture that I brought up when I was looking through the book last night, and I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure that this person in the picture is someone that we know very well here. So let's kind of jump forward. We're going to talk about all the different levels of health that you've gone through, transplants you've gone through, cancer that you've gone through. But in this picture, front and center on the left is Michael Clausen, who is Mark Coulter's partner. They own Mark Anthony's and Christopher's. How did the two of you know each other?
So we first met. Well, first of all, I was aware that Michael was a fraternity brother of Colton. Colton is my heart and kidney donor. So I first met Michael at a gathering at the cemetery that Colton's mother, Cheryl, would have every year. And I met Michael there. Mark was there this past year, and I met him for the first time. We talked a lot and kind of became aware that he had the shop in Kirkwood and things like that. And I met another friend, Adam. So these were Michael and Adam were two of Colton's best friends. And Colton was, this picture you have up on the screen, that's Colton's son. And then his mother, Cheryl, and his son, Carson. I guess Carson is probably 6 or 7 years old right now. But there's a gathering every year at the gravesite, and I like to go down there. I talk, not frequently, but we keep in touch with Cheryl. So when I first became aware of this appearance that we were going to do for you, this was originally rescheduled a month or a half ago, something like that. And just from talking to Mark, you had sent the address where it was at, the name of the store, and it was in Kirkwood. And I was driving. I'm like, I actually had to pull over. I'm like, oh my God, that is Mark and Michael's store. And I thought in my mind immediately, this is our first appearance for the book. I'm like, this is Colton. I pulled over and I called Cheryl, and I'm like, you're not going to believe this, but this is Colton. This is him blessing it, say he's okay. He's in a good place and he's happy with what's going on. So
isn't that beautiful, folks?
I mean, it was, you get those, as like, God is all around us.
Yes.
We've just got to open our eyes to see him. And
I
opened my eyes were wide open that day, and I had to pull the car over. And that's only happened once in my life, one other time. But just
isn't that eerie, folks? I mean, again, this was going to be his very first interview that he was doing, and he's like, Monica, wait a minute. And
we didn't plan this.
No, we didn't plan it. And in fact, I haven't been training here as much. My clients wanted to train virtually and be ready to run off to work quickly. And all of a sudden, you said, no. I definitely want to do it at the store because I have a beautiful connection to the store.
Yeah.
Somebody just said I got chills. Colton
Oh,
definitely had his hand in this.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of these things. So here's some of the notes I had. So 1992, heart transplant.
Mhm.
You also lost your dad, though, when you were less than 2 years old to a gene that you inherited, and
Right.
your sister had it as well. So it broke, which I'm sure gave you chills and probably made you cry.
Mhm.
His son and daughter did not have the gene, so it stopped there, which I know he was so scared about. But he lost his father, so cardiomyopathy. But at the time, it was called myocarditis.
Yeah. So at that point in time, and I lost my dad, I was 21 months old, so I kind of really didn't know anything about it. As I grew, my dad passed when he was younger. It was a heart problem. We didn't know there was a bad gene. But then my sister became sick. So my dad passed when he was 32.
Mm-hmm.
My sister became sick when she was about 30, and it was a heart issue at that time called idiopathic cardiomyopathy. Idiopathic is just a word that means they're not sure where it comes from. And generally now with that word, they say it's hereditary. There's another cardiomyopathy called viral cardiomyopathy, or an infection.
Right?
It could.
Yeah.
And the infection could too. It just depends on the damage it could leave on your heart. So with my sister passing at 32, I sort of knew that, okay, I better start preparing. And that was just my approach. I mean, I thought it's going to happen, prepare, and, they can give you a heart transplant. And, it's 1 year out of your life, a rehab. So in the grand scheme of things, hopefully 1 year is not a lot of time. And I just started mentally preparing. That was my approach. And I've always sort of been an overachiever. And I just, if you prepare, you have a plan. Doctors do their job. You come in and you do your job. You have faith in God that he's going to take care of you. And things work out,
But one of the things that is really powerful about what you just said, though, is a lot of people could go through that and then just kind of sit around. You said you're an overachiever, but you also have always honored the people who have played a role in the transplant side to say, I'm going to take care of the heart, right? It's not,
Right.
I'm going to work out. And this man works out religiously to keep himself healthy and to honor those.
Yeah, I think first, if I could back up a step, my mom was strong when she lost her first husband, and she had 3 kids at the time. And just something about my mom that she always led me to believe there's nothing in life I can't overcome. Not in a big-headed, big shot way, but she just always instilled in me that if you get knocked down, don't stay down more than 5 minutes. And it's how I saw her do that with 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw her go through it. So it was in the culture of how I was raised. But yeah, to your point about really honoring everyone. So I like to refer to it as the chain of life. Mm-hmm. And from a transplant standpoint, there's so many people that have to touch our chain links.
Sure.
All right. And there can't be any weak links in the chain. From the beginning, when there is some kind of accident that takes place, paramedics have to go out. They have to take care of the body. They have to get the body to the right place. They have to keep the body alive. It's unbelievable how respectful they treat these people that become donors and keep them alive. Has to get to where it's going. There's a lot of touch points in between. Has to get up to the surgeon, right? You have to have the surgery. It has to be successful. You have to have people after the transplant, because the first 2 to 3 years, it's really, your body is getting to know the donor's body. Yeah. So I just like to refer to the chain of life, and there can't be, one weak link in that chain.
Again, Jim Tietjens, my guest. The name of the book, Saves, and you can get it in multiple places. Let's give your website again.
So it's www.inspiremestories.com. Inspire Me Stories, all together, one word.
And again, there's other locations where you can purchase it as well. We just mentioned it'll be carried at Christopher's in Kirkwood, the Oakville, Deerbergs, Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, etc. Somebody just said that's one of those God winks. Saves is quite an inspirational story. Absolutely. So we're talking about a heart transplant in 92. Again, losing his father at a young age, then his sister at a young age. Actually, when Jim was 29, she was 32, and then 3 years later, Jim had his heart transplant, and that started, however, multiple health problems. 2 heart transplants this man has undergone, and a kidney transplant, 2 bouts with cancer, pneumonia 12 times, and an amputation of one of his toes due to some circulation issues. I mean, you literally just keep getting knocked. One of the things I want you to stress to people, because people will go through ups and downs in life, but it is the resilience. Where do you pull that from?
I pull it from my mom. My mom was always a fighter. I said the culture that I was raised in, with a mother who's serving as a father and who I never saw her blink. I never saw her back down. I never heard her be angry with God. And just I was young, and she just instilled in me that there's nothing you can't overcome. So to me, it wasn't a big deal. You just dealt with these issues one by one as they come. And I've never looked at myself as a patient. I've always looked at myself as a person. And I've always, when I became a professional athlete because I overachieved and I trained. I had a plan. I trained. And I always said, if the doctors do their job, and when I was young, they made me feel that they would never let anything happen to me. So I had incredible confidence in them. And I was like, hey, guys, if you do that part, trust me, I'll take it from here. And that was just my MO. And, again, I had to ask Dave Lang, sports writer from St. Louis, soccer writer, hey, Dave, what do you think? Will this book sell? Because it seems very normal to me. And I think that's probably because I lived it. But
sure.
But
and you're humble.
And you had mentioned a couple times, but really, saves is not about me as a goalie in soccer keeping the ball out of the net. And I really have to give Jeff credit. Originally, he came up with the name Saves, and I wasn't crazy about it, but now I absolutely love it. So it's about all those that have been part of my life that saved me, because this is nothing that you can do alone.
No.
You hear from people you've never met in your life, but they become aware of you. And it's special. And as I said, soccer is a family here in St. Louis, and it goes beyond soccer.
Well, that's one of the things that in the book, as you read it, you'll go through. And one of the things you'll love about Jim is that he's constantly, whether he's talking about all of the wonderful things he did on the field, he's always giving it to the entire team. It was not ever about I, never an ego there. But the book I wrote down is about the power of family, the power of faith, and I capitalize that, and friends. And when he started going through all of his health battles, it's all those that were there for you. Right. And I'm not going to give away the whole book. I don't want to do that. But there's so many powerful things that come out of who was there by his side. And you even tear up about friends that were holding your hand that you didn't realize.
I didn't even know. And, he never told me.
Yeah.
His daughter-in-law told me, who grew up across the street from, well, not from me, but when I was a father and kids. And she told me, Bill was there and Bill held your hand for several hours. Now, I will tell you, I had a vision of Bill in the room.
Really?
Because, and I will say this, I told him, but I had a vision he was in the room, but it was because I owed someone a lot of money and Bill offered to pay, which amongst all the friends was a major joke, because Bill had been a little tight but they also accused me. But the thing was, I knew Bill was a presence somewhere, and there, it was physically there. And the fact that he held my hand, I had another friend that came in and fed me.
Yeah. Well, see, that's when those are the true friends, right?
Right.
But you also give a lot of credit. We are very blessed here in St. Louis with Barnes, with our teaching hospitals, with our hospitals, Washington University, etc. Tell me what this picture means to this doctor.
It's amazing, man. Dr. Masu, the heart surgeon down at Barnes. You don't meet the heart surgeon until the night or the day of the transplant. So I met him at midnight. I know the date, but I forget the actual day. It might have been I'm not sure. But anyway, he comes into the room. He introduces himself for the first time. You're immediately connected to this guy, immediately. And, he's confident. I'm confident. He starts talking about all the things that could go wrong. And I'm like, Doc, I don't want to hear it. They have to do that, I think.
Sure.
I'm like, I've been through this.
Right.
I know what this is all about. And then one of my best friends is roaming around the room, always protective of me, always want the best for me. He starts asking Dr. Masu all these questions about, what's your success rate?
Well, you said he was really young. You didn't know if he had even done anything.
That night, he looked 21 years old.
He was like Doogie Howser.
21. Now, it was dark in the room, mind you. But I'm kind of thinking, what's going on here? But I finally had to tell my friend to stop with the questions. What he wanted to know was how many of these he'd done.
Right.
And I finally said, Mike, he's done none of them.
Yeah.
He's done no heart kidneys. All right. So just let it go.
Yeah,
You
stop
know?
talking about that.
Yeah.
People have
But
to
in all actuality, a kidney surgeon comes in and puts a kidney in. Yeah.
Well, and again, we were talking about not just having the heart issues. This guy has gone through problems where the heart transplant happened, but then it's how is the kidney reacting? Kidney didn't do well. He's gone through dialysis, 2016 kidney dialysis, 2012 the heart slowing down, the kidney slowing down, and again, blow after blow, as we mentioned. In this particular picture, they had to wrap. You were actually getting combative.
Right, I was getting combative. There were evil presences in the room, and I don't know if it was the medication. Some might say that I was hallucinating, but I remember clearly to this day everything that went on in the room, everything. And there was an evil presence in the room. 36 hours after the transplant, I got pneumonia and C. diff, so I was touch and go. And the evil presence in the room was trying to get me to quit. And when I viewed doctors coming in the room, I viewed several of them as looking evil, and there were ones that had green badges to me on, and those were the ones that were evil. So I would take all my might I could, and I'd physically push them away. And that's why you see my arms all wrapped up. That's my daughter, Annie, there. But then there came a point, one time, Dr. Masu would continue to come in the room and said, Jim, keep fighting, Jim. You know, you're doing okay, keep fighting. So I'm like, well, Dr. Masu's not going to be lying to me, because he would say your heart and kidney were doing good, but these other things weren't. So there was a point in time in the room where I got very angry at this presence, because I'll describe it as that the presence was, and I don't know why I came up with this, but it was physically trying to get into my body. And I would categorize it as kicking the door into my body.
Yeah.
And I finally got so mad, and, you know, I think I used some bad language inside, and I'm like, it's not happening. You know, you can kick all day, but it's over right now.
That's right.
And
Not
right
me.
then and there, it all went away. Now, I'm not going to say I heard a voice, that God was in my room, or maybe a guardian angel, but I'm saying it stopped right then and there.
I think you have had a lot of guardian angels. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is Jim Tietjens. If you have to head off to work or whatever, please come back to this. Share this with friends and family. Someone said, God's not ready for you yet. He knows you have important work to do here with us. He's keeping you with us for a good reason. I mentioned he's undergone 2 heart transplants. We're talking about kidney transplants. We're talking about stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And you say that fighting cancer was the hardest thing you've ever done in your life. It
was just a lot of pain, a lot of hurting physically, mentally, for really 10 months. But I took it as a challenge. The doctor said, you know, this could go either way. I'll give you 50-50 chances at best. And I just said straight off, I said, okay, well, I'm cranking that up to 75-25 because you're going to err on the side of caution anyway, because that's what doctors do. So that kind of got me going, and I wasn't happy with that comment. Tremendous respect for the doctor. She's amazing. Sure. But that got me going. And then after the 4th or 5th chemo treatment, one of the chemos damaged my lungs very bad. So you're on 4 chemo medications. And they had to stop that one because there was a point in time where it was a good chance I was going to pass. And actually, kind of a long story short, but I got to go home from the hospital, and they expected me to be back the next day. And I wasn't, you know, and a month later I went back and I'd get a test and they say your lungs haven't improved. And by that time I was going to the gym, starting slowly, not overdoing it. And I could feel I was getting stronger. And regardless of what anyone told me, I know my
your body
best,
yes.
right? So I'm like, you know, then I was not happy. You know, I'm like,
trust me, I'm telling you.
Exactly. That's what I said.
I know.
You know, so then one last time before Christmas, I went back and they looked at me and said, this is unbelievable. You're completely healed.
And you said, I was telling you that.
I said, I told you knuckleheads that.
Exactly.
You know, you need to believe me.
Yes.
And I always, you know, sometimes they think I have a little bit of attitude, which I don't. I'm just saying, look, believe me, I know what I'm talking about. And I've had those same instances when I got the cancer.
Right.
Believe me,
Yep.
I know this just isn't a mental thing. Something's wrong. So,
well, as you were going through things, and this is why I've told you this so many times on the show, everybody, you know your body best, better than anyone. Really pay attention to those things. Again, communication is key. Keep telling your doctors, look, I know my body. I'm feeling things are better, or I'm feeling things are worse. You've got to be really, really honest. I always say, speak your truth, be honest. If you're just tuning in, we are talking about the book Saves, and I don't want to give it all away. He's gone through so many things and overcome and overcome and overcome. So when I tell you that, yes, life will knock you down, do you have it in you, or do you have the support system around you to continue to lift you up? I'm going to take a quick break. During the time that he's gone through all of this, there's also some really powerful things that we talk about that has to do with meeting a woman, love of his life. He gets engaged. I think there's a really funny story in there about how you left the hospital and went to the hill for dinner, which I think is hilarious. I'm not going to give all that away. You got to read it in the book. But he goes through some rough times with that as well. And that's the one hard thing is somebody taking that on. And we'll mention that aspect. And then we're going to introduce you quickly as well to his co-author of the book. Saves is the name of the book. I want you to get it. So many of you love when I introduce you to new books for inspiration. This is a big one, folks. Saves, available at Deerberg's in Oakville, available at Christopher's in Kirkwood, available at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and on your website.
Right. www.inspiremestories.com. And every time we have a book signing, we'll be posting that online on our website. And I'm sure we'll be planning a book signing eventually here in Kirkwood.
We better be. All right. And we're going to talk about the power of organ donation and how many lives and how many levels it saves. All of that coming up for you next.
You are truly an incredible human being, and just what you're doing is so inspiring. This was really a cathartic experience for me. So I appreciate you, love you.
It's been an honor to not only just be here on set with you, but just to sit in your presence. You inspire everyone around you, from your motivational speaking to your podcast here, to just being the human that you are.
It's just such a joy to be able to see you at this point in your career. Really following your passion, fulfilling your dreams, and encouraging other people to do the same.
I feel that I've been missing out. I believe God places people like you in people's lives for a reason. You have definitely been a God wink for me.
Welcome back. It is the Real Monica Adams Show, the mobile Monica version. We are live in Kirkwood on a Wednesday, February 21st. Once again, from the weather standpoint, what the weather? Well, it's 72 for a high today. Can you believe that? I just changed the set around a little bit because the sun was glaring at us.
There we go.
We are not complaining for an end of February forecast. It is absolutely beautiful. Get out and kick around the soccer ball today.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a good one. We do have some rain possibly moving in tonight into tomorrow. Windy. It'll be dropping into the 60s, then the 50s as we move into Friday and Saturday. Back to about 72, though, for Sunday and Monday, which is crazy. Pam just said, I have an aunt and cousins that live in Oakville. Their last name is McNeil. Do you know them?
I do not.
It's a small town for sure.
It is a small town.
This was a really powerful thing that someone said earlier. Your success depends on one thing, who you associate with. You may not realize it, but you're like a chameleon. You can and will absorb the attitudes, opinions, and behaviors of those you choose to spend the time with. If you spend time with winners and positive thinkers, you'll start to become like them. Spend time with negative underachievers, and you'll become like them. Jim has constantly surrounded himself with incredible friends and family that were there to lift him up. Sally Raines, do you know Sally's husband?
I do.
Yep,
I do. Actually,
writer.
Sally just wrote a story, and it is the best story in 34 years it's ever been written about myself and my family.
Really?
Accurately capturing my thoughts and what's happened to my family. I wanted to get it to you ahead of time because I didn't know that you're going to have an opportunity to read the book. Had kind of a rough week, so I wasn't able to get it to you. But
he just lost a
just
sister.
just an amazing story that she wrote. And,
it's not just you that what you've gone through. I mean, we talked about, if you're just tuning in, you missed at the beginning of the show, please go back and watch. But he lost his father at a very young age. Then you lost your mom, you lost your sister again just this past week. He finds out, as his sisters do, that they have this gene that their dad had, just blow after blow. But the great thing, and we mentioned this, is that you meet this woman. You go out on a date, you actually get engaged, you get married. The two of you have children. You have a son, Jimmy, and then you have your daughter, Annie. And the great thing is, when the tests are done, you end up finding out that they do not carry the bad heart gene. What did that mean to you?
Just broke down and cried. So in the family at that time, there was my father who passed. There was my two sisters, both had the bad heart gene. My father, myself, my older sister who's passed. She had a heart transplant and a kidney transplant. She had two children. So those two children are positive to the bad heart gene. And her daughter has already had two heart transplants.
Ugh.
And I think she's in her early 40s, okay? So at that point, you had six people. And all six, it was 6 for 6, the bad heart gene.
Wow.
All right. So my kids had not been tested at that point. But my daughter was going to Florida State to play volleyball. So she had to go through extensive testing for the bad heart gene. So she was the first one. And it was interesting how it went down. But make a long story short, I was able to get it done very quickly, much quicker than the doctors at Florida State, through sort of contacts here in St. Louis. And I was out working at the time with Anheuser-Busch. I was on the road. I was in kidney dialysis on the road because I was still working. So if I went on a trip, I'd have to schedule dialysis in the city I was at. And I was in the dialysis. I was on the machine. I was laying in the chair when I got the call that my daughter Annie was negative to the bad heart gene. Oh, sorry, Monica. There I go again, kicking the thing. That was even a left-footed kick. So,
you're ambidextrous.
Yeah. So it was just an amazing moment, and I've never been angry at God, and I think I got that from my mom. And
that's powerful.
It was the happiest moment of my life. Other than the day she was born, and it was something that my wife and I never concerned about. Maybe we were naive, but we didn't think about it a great deal about having kids. We just trusted in God that he'd take care of us. And that's what happened. Yeah.
Well, and you talk a little bit about the book of, do I feel a little guilty because my kids don't, but then these kids over here do? I mean, you go through so many levels of your mind, but you turn so much over to God. I did mention this, and I don't want to go too deep into it because it's one of the chapters in the book that you'll talk about. You go through life. Your wife was by your side for so much of this, but hit after hit after hit, you wonder, did this play into it at all? But they have marital issues, and you struggle with that. I know the two of you just started really drifting apart.
Yeah, we did. And I don't know. It's just, she was the love of my life. There's no doubt. Love her today. But I could have done better, and maybe we both could have done better. But it's tough at this point in my life because family's everything to me.
Yep.
So I miss not being married to her. My kids are amazing. My daughter Annie's amazing. My son Jimmy has grown up with a severe ADHD kid, but he's a father. He's a single father, and he's really impressed me of how he's done. And I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of my granddaughter. I'm so proud of my daughter, who is now a cardiac ICU nurse at Barnes.
And she's actually worked firsthand with people whose hands were inside of you.
Dr. Masood.
Yes.
Yeah. And
was she inspired by everything she saw?
Yeah, she was. This is her idea, not mine.
Right.
And she's so focused, and she's worked so hard. So Annie's what I would call a gamer, right? She played volleyball at Florida State. She was a setter. Not physically gifted in terms of size and all that, but
she's 5'7".
She'll say she's 5'7", but on a good day she's 5'6". But if I can use that little SHI, she's got game. And when she went to nursing school, she finished number one in her class. Annie is not a brilliant, open the book person that just is as smart as can be. Lots of common sense. She'll outwork anyone. And I just was so proud that she was the number one person in the nursing school. And, I've had some bouts with being in the hospital in October and November, probably 3 weeks out of 6 weeks I was in the hospital with some leg issues. And she was there for me. And to hear her interact with the other nurses and doctors, oh my gosh, I was so proud of her. Just so mature, so wise, listening to them, taking it all in as a sponge, but being able to contribute back to the conversation. So proud of her.
Again, we're looking at a picture of your beautiful daughter, and it's all about, again, the support system that's been around him. So there's a mutual friend that just signed on. I'm trying to get out of the way of this.
Oh, here we go. Let's see.
So Ron Fleshman is a very dear friend of mine.
Yeah. Oh, he is.
Yeah. So his wife Dot, I trained for their wedding. That's how we all became friends. And Ron just said, "Please tell Jim I said hi. Worked with Jim as a coworker and a client. Great guy."
Wow.
Small world, is it not?
It is a small world.
St. Louis is so small.
We had a lot of fun. Ron was from an agency, a creative agency we work with. I haven't talked to him in a while. I'm not sure where he is right now.
He's in the city.
Okay, but we had a lot of fun working with his agency. Had some great people there. And the one thing we did with Anheuser-Busch back in those days is we worked hard. And the good thing about the beer business is you learn every day whether you win the day or not. And we try to win every day. And I used to take the approach, kind of the same thing in my life, but every day is the Super Bowl. But so it's pretty intense. But as Ron will also tell you, we like to have a good time as well.
Oh, we've had good times with Ronnie.
So, yeah, we had a good time.
He knows how to party.
Yeah, he's a good man. Ron, if I can say, don't forget to pick up the book. I would love to hear what you think about it. I'd love to hear your input on it, okay?
All of you. Again, the book is called Saves, and we've given you many areas where you can go and purchase it. Someone said, what a beautiful legacy to be an organ donor at a time of tremendous loss. What do you want to say to all of those that are thinking about being an organ donor, or maybe just dismissed it and put it out of their head?
It's a sensitive subject, but I would just say that, unfortunately, tragedies happen or things happen, right, that we don't like to think about, talk about. But we live in a time that we didn't have in the past where these bad things can help someone live. And for someone like me, I had a marriage, I had kids. Now I have a grandchild. Now none of them have the bad heart gene, so they can have kids. And all I really want to do, my hope is that for my organ donor's mother is that it's never going to leave her mind and it's with her every day and she thinks about it every day. But is there a point in time that I can just put a smile on her face for a very short time to have a good day or a better day? And that's really all I kind of want to do. But, now that an organ donor can affect, in reality, almost 100 people.
Yeah.
In one way or another. So, we have these tragedies, but now some, I don't want to use the word good, but life can come from that at some time. And I would hope the donor families at some point in time, that could be somewhat of a positive takeaway. And, talking a little bit about my donor's mother, Cheryl, an amazing lady. She raised Colton as a single mother, only son, only grandson, Carson. And I will tell you to just talk a little bit about another moment that when I met her for the first time, I was at one end of the room. She was at another end of the room. There was probably 40 feet in between us. We had to come to meet. I was nervous. I just asked God as I was walking across the room, please put the right words in my mouth. I don't know what to say.
No.
And I got up to her and God just took over because it sort of flowed and we had a really unbelievable encounter. And, I don't know that I basically what I wanted to let her know that I felt that if her son would have had the opportunity to choose his own recipient that's going to get his heart and kidney, he would have chose me. So to say that in a way that doesn't sound, might be hurtful to her, I just would kind of say that I'm the one Colton would have wanted to have his organs.
Sure.
And I can assure you those organs will never be damaged in my body.
I love how he always says he honors, and I wanted to show a picture before we take a break of Jim in the gym, always making sure that he is honoring, and that's the one thing that he's continued to pass along is, I will honor this heart, I will take care of this heart, that it means the world. But yeah, folks, if you haven't looked into that, I was looking into it the other day. I was actually telling my friend Michelle, when you donate your organ, that you are not just saving one life or two lives, but it was up. One article I read said 75, Jim saying 100. So 75 to 100, which is extremely powerful. So just think about that. It's a simple thing to make that decision of, yes, when I leave this earth, I want to be able to continue to give back, which is a powerful thing. It is a little after 8 o'clock, and I told you we'd probably run over a little bit today, which we are. The name of the book is Saves. I want you to pick it up. Someone said, thank you for sharing your incredible life journey. You are an inspiration. You have a purpose here with us. Thank you. She says, I'm an organ donor. I hope Mark will have a book signing on the weekend. Keep us posted. We will. We will absolutely do that. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, I do want to bring your co-author in. Jeff played a big role in this as well. The name of the book, again, is called Saves. We'll let you know, if you haven't already heard enough, where you can pick up the book to get inspired. Again, Jim and Jeff behind the book Saves, and we'll talk with Jeff next. Envita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Envita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Envita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Envita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment, or online, envitahealthandwellness.com. Welcome back. We're in the wrap-up of the Real Monica Adams show. Again, the mobile Monica version. Look forward to reading the book. Kathleen says, thank you for sharing your story. We've been talking with Jim Tietjens, Jeff Kushno, right? Mm-hmm. All right. The name of the book is Saves. What made you want to tell this story?
Well, Jim and I met at a gymnasium called the Workout Company in Oakville, closed about a year and a half ago. And I knew of Jim from his playing days because I was a sports writer in the St. Louis area, and I had followed a little bit about his story. When I met him later at the gym, as we started to talk, I realized that his health challenges created such an amazing story. I went up to him one day and said, has anyone ever approached you about writing a book about your life story? And he said, no, but I would love to. And I said, well, I think I can help you with that. I retired from full-time teaching in the spring of 2021. And I was thinking about some of the things that I could do post, teaching and getting into retirement. And this is something I had thought about, could I be involved in actually producing a book? Mm-hmm. So Jim and I talked about it, and I interviewed him probably 15 to 20 times, recorded those interview sessions, transcribed the notes, and then looked at all the notes. And I mean, it was this thick.
Sure.
All the notes. You've heard so many stories from Jim. We didn't get all of those stories into the book, but we organized the stories and put them together. And it took about a year and a half to 2 years, and we finally pulled it together.
Jeff, I have to say, one of the things that really stood out when I was reading last night, this particular comment, and I want to quote him directly, which is going to surprise all of you that may have had a chance to listen from the very beginning, hearing everything that he went through. But in the book, you will read that Jim says that he wouldn't change anything and that he believes he is the luckiest man alive. To say that after everything he's been through, why do you think he would make that comment?
Well, I think what Jim has always come back to and talked about is, despite his challenges, so many positive things have happened in his life, while he's been fighting that battle. And, I think everyone has, and Jim has talked about this before as well. Everyone has challenges in their life.
Yes.
everyone has a cross to bear. And, just being knocked down and getting back up and moving forward is such an accomplishment.
Yeah.
And despite everything that has happened to him, he talks about his family, his 2 children who are negative to the bad heart gene.
Mm-hmm.
And, sometimes we have to step back and realize, we have so many blessings in our life, and to appreciate those those blessings that we have and keep moving forward and trying to accomplish something good in our life is really a powerful thing. And that's what is so incredible about Jim's story.
Did you enjoy going back and reliving all the soccer days?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When I was younger, I was actually a soccer reporter for the Journal newspapers that we used to have here in St. Louis. So I knew a lot of folks in the soccer community. I didn't really know Jim at the time, but again, I knew of his story. And, as we were putting the book together, the first, 5 chapters or so of the book is mainly about soccer.
Right.
And then we transition into his business experience. And then, of course, most of the book is about his health challenges. But, Jim will say, this book is not about soccer. But I'll tell you what, the soccer stories that he can tell
are amazing,
are incredible. Yeah.
You'll all enjoy it. Again, there's so many of you that follow me that knew me from when I was playing, when I was younger. And that's what you're really going to enjoy is, oh my gosh, this name and that name. He brought up Don Ebert, who was my favorite number 9 that played for the Steamers. And I was like, oh, Ebert, just forget about all this until all of a sudden it comes back up. And Jim said it earlier, you really do feel like it's a family. It's like cousins and cousins and cousins. And you hear these names in the soccer community and you feel like they're a part of your family. So you'll enjoy all of that. Again, Jeff has spent his career working in the media and education field, 27 years as a high school journalism instructor and retiring as a full-time educator in 2021. We went overtime today. You do have to rush off. You have to teach, though.
I do. Yes, I just began a long-term teaching assignment back at Oakville High School. I'm back in the classroom. The successor to my position there at Oakville High School just had a baby a couple days ago. So she's on maternity leave, and I'll be there back in the classroom for the next 10 weeks.
Well, you will enjoy this so much. Michelle put it up for you, inspiremestories.com. Buy the book or the Deerbergs in Oakville, Barnes & Noble, Christopher's in Kirkwood, Amazon. We'll continue to add more. Hopefully we'll talk about a signing that will take place as well. What are you hoping that people who buy the book today or buy it as a gift for someone else and give it away, what are you both hoping, I guess I can ask, that people will take away from this?
Well, I think the important thing is we want to get the book out there for as many people to read. One of the things that I told Jim when we talked about this initially is that, we're not going to be around forever, but his story needs to be out there. His story needs to live forever. And that's what is important about the book, is to get that out there and let people embrace that. So I think as far as the takeaway is, again, I keep thinking about one of the Rocky movies where the scene he's talking to his son and he says, life is not about, getting knocked down. It's about how many times you can get knocked down and get up and keep moving forward. And there is no better example of that than Jim Tietjens.
I'm so glad that you brought this to me. I'm so glad that I was able to get an advance copy and to read through it. It's an easy read, by the way, because you get so immersed in it and you get so inspired by it, which is exactly what I was telling you. So please do me a favor. You're going to see it on the bottom of the crawl. Share this. Follow our live stream. Again, the great thing is today, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we are actually on multiple platforms, not just Facebook and YouTube, but we were on Instagram and Twitter today as well. Jeff, thank you for collaborating with Jim on this.
Thank
you.
I
hope that all of you, when you ask for new books to inspire you, this will be one of them. I'm going to bring Jim in one final time before we wrap up. So you got to think, one very powerful thing to leave them with, Jim. Again, the book is called Saves. And I mean, it saves on multiple levels. If you're a soccer lover, you're going to love that aspect, but it's really about you looking at your life and thinking, gosh, if he can get back up after this, and ad nauseum, all the health battles he's went through, you can do it as well. That's what I'm hoping you walk away with. Jim's final comments when we return. Invita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Invita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Invita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Invita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment or online invitahealthandwellness.com. Welcome back. We are in the wrap up of our show on Wednesdays. Again, we were always here on Wednesdays and Fridays. We might be back here again. That sun definitely has been
It feels
fun.
good, though. It does feel
right?
good, yeah.
72 for a high today,
Oh.
folks. So get out and enjoy it. Jim Tietjens, Jeff Kushno. The name of the book is Saves. Again, we've been dropping in so many different areas of where you can purchase that. Thank you to Michelle, as always, for all the great work that she does. Michelle just asked, when will the book be in audio format?
So the book is in audio format right
Already?
now on Amazon. Yeah.
There you go.
Great question. Thank you.
You?
No.
Okay.
No.
I always like when I hear the art. Is it Jeff or you? Or no?
No, it's not. But I got to look into that. There's just been so much going on. It's just two of us. But I'm going to look into that because I would want that to be me.
I would like that. I really love to sit there and listen to the person that it's all about. So grateful that is that you did not abandon and is not angry with our divine Savior. So many times I know that people have done that. Thank you again for your story. You mentioned that earlier, and I hope people heard that. Is that never were you mad at God, which you could have been over and over again. So what's your final thoughts and words for everybody?
My final thoughts really is, it is somewhat about love and family. You have so many people coming together that don't even know each other, but you become family, with people at the hospital, with people that, you may not have known, but you can't do this alone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not one thing. It's many things. It's kind of like, I don't sound cliche, but it's almost like a perfect storm. Everything comes together and it works, but it really speaks to the good of people.
Yeah.
All these people in the medical area deciding to a career path to help people, no matter whatever it may be. I use the example of I was under quarantine because I had something they didn't know, and a carpenter was in this little area in my room blocked off, and he asked if he could help me, and I said, "Can you get me a chocolate shake?" And this was at Barnes. He got me a chocolate shake. He stopped what there's so much good in this world, so much love in this world. So let's tap into that, we don't hear about that, but let's tap into that. And then the other thing I would say is just like Colton, my heart donor, kidney donor, he was a Missouri National Guard combat medic.
Yes.
Missouri National Guard combat medic. And their motto is, we serve so others can live. So even in his passing, he chose to be an organ donor. He chose to serve while I'm living. So just what an amazing example. So again, Saves is not about me. It's about how people can impact the world, how people can impact others' lives. So that's really what I hope they take out of it. And for me to have the people in my life that I have and my friends and other people, I can never possibly be mad. God is taking care of me, and he's not ready for me, and hopefully I'll continue to be able to do some good in the world.
You're
good
a pleasure.
Job. Awesome. Good job. I enjoyed it so much.
I am so glad. Again, I cannot wait for you to read the book. And then please do me a favor. And in future shows or reaching out to me, I'll give you that email address. I'll put it on the screen for you. info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. Let me know what you think of the book. Let me know how hopefully it helped to change your life. So inspiremestories.com. You can go to the Deerbergs in Oakville, Barnes & Noble, Christopher's in Kirkwood, Amazon. People are saying thank you so very much. Again, very powerful story. you're gonna love this one, folks. And tonight, let me just say this: we have our Cultivating a Vision night. It's really powerful. It's the third one we've had. It's at 6:00 tonight until 7:30. If you feel like you've been knocked down so many times and you feel like you need somebody to lift you back up, well, tonight might be the night that you need. It is still available ticket-wise, TheRealMonicaAdams.com. Pass this along to people. Kasia Satars from Canada and myself, we're here for you. We are going to carve out what matters for your life. And please do not think that you can't overcome things, because I'm hoping that this man just made you realize that you can. So I say this at the end of every show, Jim. Go out, be anything you want to be in this world. But before you're anything, be kind.
Thank
right?
you. Yeah,
God bless
absolutely.
you all. Thank you so much for watching.